guys, it's Taylor. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today I am going to finally be bringing you my TBR. Now I am going to be participating in two different readathons this month. The first one is going to be Empty Shelfie, and I will have that TBR in this video. But the second one is going to be the Tome Topple, and I am going to have a separate video for that one. So I have 3 books for Empty Shelfie and the 3 challenges, and I have 2 more books just for in between if I feel, because I think Tome Topple ends on the 20th, and then that gives me 10 days to finish these. I have a couple extra days to finish a couple more books. So I have 2 books to fill those spaces, and if I read more, then I read more, and that will be in my wrap-up. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the 3 books for Empty Shelfie. And if you don't know what Empty Shelfie is, it is a month-long readathon created by Heather at Zether Books and Nikki at the Dragon Queen Books. So this month of April, they have a co-host, and I believe her name is Shannon, and she is an indie author. So that's pretty cool that they got an author involved, because I think that that's one of the goals, is to have as many people as possible, readers, authors, bloggers. So that's really cool, and I want to say thank you to everybody who participated while I was the guest host. I had an absolute blast. I hope to do it again one day because I had so much fun. But without further ado, here are the 3 challenges and the 3 books that I will use to fill them. The first challenge is to have an indie author or an indie published book. Now, I watched Heather's video just to try to get a feel for some ideas, because I have more indie books on my Kindle, and I know that you can use your Kindle, but I'm trying to get as many physical books read as I can. So I went on Goodreads and I found a book that has about 1,500 reviews, and it's a publisher that I'd never heard of. I know 1,500's quite a bit, and it's not quite an indie book, but I had never heard of it. I don't know anybody who talks about it on BookTube. So for that, I'm going to go with The Casket Girls by Alice Arden, and I saw Paige over at Books and Blabber talk about this, and I know that she had read it and thoroughly enjoyed it, and the second book is coming out, I think, this year. So yeah, this is going to be my choice for indie book, indie publisher, because the publisher is, I believe it's Skyscrape, and I've never heard of it. The book takes place in the French Quarter of New Orleans, and there has been a huge storm that comes through. It's the storm of the century, and it follows 16-year-old Adele as she is trying to survive the just the aftermath of this storm. She wants nothing but her town to go back to normal, but there are climbing murder rates, there are just all kinds of issues going on, and I believe there are vampires in this, so that would be really cool. And I'm going into it pretty blind. Besides the little synopsis on the back that I read, I know nothing. So I'm really excited to finally dive into it. The second challenge is to find a book with a green book, but I think Heather wanted to do more of a green spine because it's a little harder. Now, none of the hardback books that I have a green spine, but there aren't very many. I have green cover books, but I did find a paperback with a green spine to be matched by Ali Condai. I believe it's kind of along the lines of Selection. In the society, officials decide who you love, where you work, when you die. So yeah, I absolutely love the Selection series. I know it's trash, but I love it 2 pieces, and I'm not quite finished with that series yet. But anyway, this is a book that I have been wanting to pick up since I believe I started my BookTube channel last year. And I finally found it at a used bookstore, and I picked it up because I knew I was going to eventually get around to it, and I really hope I like it. The final challenge for Empty Shelfie is to read a book that has a character who is an author, a writer, or a blogger. I read Discovery of Witches, and it turns out that the main character, Diana Bishop, she is a she's a scholar, and she's writing I believe she's writing a book, or she's writing a speech. She's an alchemist, and so she's going to be giving a presentation on certain things within the realm of alchemy, and I read that last year and I absolutely loved it. Pick up Shadow of Night. This is the second book in the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness, and yeah, this follows Diana and Matthew, who we meet in the first book, as she is continuing her journey to figure out what it means to be a witch. This is just a continuation. It's a second book. I don't really want to get too much into it, but yeah, this is going to be the third and final book for the Empty Shelfie readathon that goes from April 1st to April 30th. For the remaining 2 books that I plan on reading throughout the rest of the month, I've already started one. I am about 65 pages in, and that is Ensnared by A.G. Howard. I finished Unhinged last month, and I absolutely loved it. It kind of put me into a book hangover that for the rest of the month I didn't want to read a single book that I had picked out for my TBR. So I was like, in April I'm gonna go ahead and start it, and it took me a while to get around to it because I was just kind of like reading slump. I really wanted to pick it up, but I really wasn't feeling like reading. So I went ahead and I picked it up, and so far I loved it. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is the third book in the, I believe it is the Wonderland retelling or reimagining. It's a Splintered novel. I think the series is called Splintered. Yeah, I absolutely love this series. I am really excited for this. I believe it's the conclusion, but I think that there's one more book after that's kind of like a novella kind of thing. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I'm really excited to get this third book finished because I kind of really have to know what happened. The second book that I want to pick up with my free time is the A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I have owned this book for, I want to say, at least 9 months at this point, and there is so much hype around this book, so much love, that I'm ready to jump on that train because the third one, of Rings and Ruin, comes out in May. So I'm really excited to finally dive in and just dive in headfirst with this series and this world because I've heard nothing but great things about this book. So that is my TBR, the 3 books for Empty Shelfie and the 2 books that I hope to be getting to in my spare time. I'm going to be bringing you the 5 books for Tome Topple here in, I'm going to film it right after this, so, and hopefully it will be up before the 7th, which is when the Tome Topple starts. So thank you so much for joining me on my April TBR, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!